So I was out on Sunday. I actually finally took like a full day and drove up and around. And Mrs. Cummings and I went up the 150, which is Santa Paula going the back way into Ojai. And there's a park right outside of Santa Paula where there's always rushing water, no matter when you're there. This time there was no rushing water, Steckel Park. I actually took a picture from the base of that creek where there was just little stagnant pools, reminding me of how serious the drought is. And then I come home to make sure that my sprinklers are set in accordance with the water agency I rent right now. So I mean, I'm kind of stuck with what I've got. But 3 days a week and be going to 2 days a week, and those are mandatory settings. And it's like, man, all this stuff going on. Not to mention the amount of maintenance and things like that in the yard. There is a solution though. If you are one who does not want to have to try and deal with the drought conditions, want to make sure that you have a consistent look to your home from a curb appeal perspective. We're talking about waterless turf, and we're not talking about back in the 70s when everything was really plasticky and you could tell it from like a mile away. Actually, waterless turf now is so realistic you don't even know when you're up close to it. And here to talk about waterless turf from the company Waterless Turf is Vic Watterson. How interesting. Did you know that you were going to get into the business of waterless turf? That's a last name that actually works very well, Vic.
I know, huh?
Well, let's talk a little bit about this, because I mean, we've got the drought, which is probably prompting a lot of people to go, why am I watering my lawn, or why is it half dead when I can have an alternative, right?
Yes, exactly. And most people do overwater their lawns without really knowing it, thinking that it's hot out so they need to water it every day, which they really don't. Having a landscape background myself, you can actually get away with watering your lawn about 3 days a week, and the idea is shorter intervals for longer periods of time, so the water can seep down into the roots, which are a good 3-4 inches below the ground. But having said that, most people don't know that, and then they end up watering every day. So
they water the sidewalks and water the gutters, and a lot of it goes away.
Wash down everything.
But even still with that, there are alternatives, because what we're also talking about is consistency. We're talking about the level of maintenance. We're talking about even fertilization that goes into the yards that can eventually trickle into the, cause other issues and things like that washes down. As far as something when we have a waterless turf that is consistent, you don't have to concern yourself with maintenance once it's installed, or very low maintenance, I should say, or gardeners and things like that, right?
Exactly. So yeah, a lot of the advantages that you just mentioned. So most households, people may not know, their lawns use up to about 50% or more of their water. So it could be up to an 80% water savings that they would recognize with the waterless turf. And of course, there's no mowing. You don't have to pull the weeds, the fertilizer, as you mentioned, which is dangerous chemical runoff into which eventually ends up in the ocean. There's no irrigation repairs or maintenance with an irrigation system. Oftentimes the system will just get stuck on and just keep watering all day until you get home. And
you trip over, you run over it, you don't even realize it until you see it spewing out at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning.
By or,
exactly.
Breaking it. And then you mentioned, the pets as well. So the turf is designed to not be harmed by any kind of pet, excrements, and it's easy to clean. You just hose it down, wash it down, and also underneath the turf, we install a 3 to 4 inch layer of gravel and sand, which helps to actually improve your grading and your drainage for your lawn. Because right now, most of our California soil is made of clay, so it hardens and compacts, and then the water hits the surface of it and just runs right off. So again, you're supposed to aerate your lawn and do things like that, which most people just either don't have the time or don't want to spend the money on to maintain a proper lawn. So again, the waterless turf being a really nice alternative to that and saving the water. And also you mentioned the AstroTurf is what it used to be known as back in the day when it first came out. But now there's so many different textures and styles and colors. And
you have them on your website too, waterlessturf.com, different grass styles for your different types of, whether it's heavy traffic, light traffic.
Correct.
And that's really important to understand that there are different, just like there's different types of carpets,
Exactly.
there's different types of grasses. And there is one in my neighborhood, like someone who has actually had that installed, and I had to go way up close And I think I was
Yeah.
like, man, what are they doing? What are they watering? And I realized, I mean, and even it kind of feels real. I mean, once you get
It
really,
does.
really close,
Uh-huh.
it's not exactly, but it looks so realistic anymore. It's amazing what it did for this lawn. It was a completely different
Right.
transformation.
Right, and there are different grades of turf out there. So the product that I carry is made by a manufacturer called Tiger Turf. So it's a really nice, got a 10-year warranty. It's an American-made product, and really nice. They've done a real good job keeping up with the textures and colors and the variations of colors. And you'll find that there's probably 5 or 6 different selections that will fit into a specific area, whether it be a front yard or a backyard. Given your surrounding landscape or the color of your home or the stucco, things like that, that you can choose from. So, and for fun, if you want to do a backyard putting green, if you're a golfer or wannabe golfer, or even for the kids to play around with, the putting greens are also another nice, little fun aspect of installing.
That sounds like so Santa Clarita. This is exactly
yeah.
what people would want. And what's really important too, but wait, there's more department, is that there are rebates that offered for turf removal to have this installed, correct? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, so the Department of Water and Power, which is actually the Metropolitan Water District, which is the kind of governing body for all of the water districts throughout the whole greater LA, Santa Clarita, all of the valleys, Orange County areas, are offering a $2 to $3 a square foot rebate, which is up until now unheard of. Prior to, a lot of areas didn't have any kind of incentive to change their lawn out. And now, for example, if you have a 1,000 square foot lawn and you're averaging around $8 to $9 a square foot for the turf, and that's installed, of course, with all the removal and preparation and closing off the sprinklers and all the things that go along with getting your yard ready for the turf, then you would recognize up to a $3,000 rebate after the turf is installed, which is huge, again, compared to what there used to be, which was very little incentive at all.
Exactly, and thinking that you're going to be saving 50 to 60% on your water bill, and also in landscape maintenance and everything else. It's a terrific opportunity
Yes.
to use this as an incentive, perhaps, to beautify your lawn permanently. Waterlessturf.com is the website. You can call 877-H2O-LESS or 420-877-420-5377. Free consultation. Vic Watterson, thanks so much for stopping by. That's Waterless Turf. Consider your options.
Thank you.
7:47, we'll be back with